Thank you, everyone. I noticed there's a few, um, I won't call it old center, existing centers, and you are inside this training. Just to let you know, I did announce that this coming Saturday there will be a training. Uh, uh, my apologies, we have to move it to Thursday. The reason for this Saturday training, it is only for administrator existing school. At the same time, it is for teachers in the existing school. The training on Saturday is to help teacher to reinforce, which will be in the training here, don't worry, it will be in the training here, how to use the lesson plan effectively, which we will cover afterward, managing the module. Okay? And the other part that I will be dealing on Saturday training, which we're going to push it to Friday at 12 noon. 12 noon. The reason for that is because actually this Saturday training was only meant for the teachers in my school here at Oak Bridge International School. But some of them did ask whether they can join, so I decided to open it up on the Saturday. Originally it was supposed to be on Saturday, but due to some situation we have to push it forward to Friday. So one of the other topic that we'll be covering is on class management, how to implement the 4 C's of class management, which we will cover here today, which is command, control, command, connect. I will explain more after this. Okay, so let's begin our lesson for the day. We are going to talk on starting school. I'm assuming all of you, most of you who are new teachers, except for a few, plus also those who are new centers and a few existing center. So for the existing center, this will be a refreshment to you, how to start center. Okay. So when it comes to starting a center, starting your school, this is what we'll be going through for today. Operational team and procedure. The 2 choices of operation, which is one classroom or self-directed, or you can have a blended mode also. Then we'll be covering on diagnostic test and placement, student enrollment. This will be done on the job. Organizing your classroom, that's where we go into management. Later part we cover more on organizing your classroom and projection for students. So in this hour we will try to cover all these areas. Okay, starting from operational team. 4 key person: 1 principal, administrator, teachers, and also the IT personnel are vital for these operations. And I listed down there the first one concerning the 4 key person, the administrator. The administrator is the main person that is managing the school operation. This person will also be in charge of the facility, teachers' affair, or parents' affair, curriculum. It also involves principal when it comes to teachers and parents' affair or matters. Curriculum primarily will be the charge of the administrator. Enrollment, promotion of school, placing of order, collection of fees, managing expenditure and finances. All these will come under the administrator portfolio. For more detailed one, okay, to those who are administrator, we will give you a handbook for that. Just to kind of concise it, the principal will be in charge of the daily academic operation of the center. That's the student or the teacher's matters arising to the academic and so forth. At the same time, the principal, okay, because you're on the first line dealing with teacher, there are sometimes any matters that pertain to teachers have to be brought up to the administrator. In most cases, as a new center, the teacher, the principal will actually, the administrator will act as the principal. Okay, in most most cases, the administrator will act as the principal also. So any matters pertaining to parents arising from their children's education, this will also be handled by the principal. And if there is an administrator, it is very important that the principal bring it up to the administrator too. And if the principal is not able to solve, or there are some sensitive issue, always consult with the administrator. Okay? Then you have the teacher who is managing, monitoring, mentoring. Yesterday I've emphasized that a lot, that you need to move out from the concept, the traditional concept of a teacher, that a teacher is to teach. Today we're going to show you the lesson plan, the LMS, and so forth, and it is here that you'll be able to understand further or more why the role of a teacher is different in the Eduseeds system, and how it can actually help children to learn more effectively also. Okay, so teacher, you need to just open up your hearts, open up your mindset. You are managing, monitoring, mentoring the progress and development of your students. Last, the IT. This not necessarily be a full-time. It could be a church member, a friend, or someone that you will engage outside to help you as and when the needs arises. But having said that, I would also like you to know that our IT personnel is always on standby to assist you. I think during the installation of the server, we will also want to train you how to use the team viewer. The team viewer will help our IT here to have access to your server or to any child's computer, and if there is a need, my IT personnel will help you to fix the problem. Okay, so team viewer is the software that we use to help you fix your server from the distant, what do you call that, where we are not on site. Okay, so these are the 4 key persons in the center, and these are your responsibility. As you grow and as more and more teachers are employed, you may need to set up a more a better system. Okay, so first thing, the procedure when you start a school and how normally schools are started. Just to add on a little bit, we usually have a promotion where we talk to parents. The topic is on learning for success, and usually from this promotional talk, that's where inquiry will come. The parents will inquire about this education system and about your school and how they can enroll in your school, into the school. So the inquiry will come in. Once the inquiry is satisfied with the curriculum and program, okay, then you need to set a date for the diagnostic test. Okay, you will need to put a date, and then the children, after that I'll show you the next slide on the okay, I think I have it. Oh, sorry, I didn't have that slide. Sorry, my apology. So the diagnostic test, you will set a date to sit for the child to sit for the diagnostic test. Please, in the diagnostic test, we don't really set a time, what we call a time schedule. We allow the child how much time is needed. Let me go. I do have, I think. Yeah, the purpose of the diagnostic test. The purpose of this diagnostic test is for us to determine the child's what he knows or where is he at in his academic level. The reason is when you have done the diagnostic test and place a child, it will allow the child to start at his confidence level. Starting from a confident level is vital to help a child to be independent. Please, this is where you need to understand why the diagnostic test is important, why you have to place them according to the diagnostic level so that they can begin at the confidence level, because this is where a child can learn independently. Okay? It is essential that students begin at their present skill level, okay? And that also will help to erase failure mentality. When they start at the confidence level, as they move on module to module, they have better success, and that will erase the failure mentality. The other reason for the diagnostic test is so that we can determine their language barrier, not just in English, their language level, but also in science and mathematics. See, a lot of our students in Malaysia comes from the Chinese stream. And because of it, I don't say they are weaker in their academic ability. They are not. They are actually, let me use this word, they are actually displaced. Because of different emphasis, it's a different track in the Chinese school. Their language face a problem. Not just in English, but also the language in science and the language in maths. Bear in mind that we are using Singapore maths, and Singapore maths is very strong on terminology or words. Okay? And understanding the sentence will actually help them in their maths also. So the language is important. So this is where very often when we diagnose a child, most of the time there are incidents where a child can be on level or even higher. Okay? That depends on the background. But most of the time, the child will drop. Some may drop 4 level down. 4 level means 4 grade. At different. Now, understand that our module is broken up, especially for English, Maths and Science, into 10. Our curriculum is broken up into 10 modules. Each module basically is for a month, and each module carries specific topics, okay, or subject matters. And so when we do the diagnostic, the test is also goes in concurrent with the module. So we know that if a child failed on a specific unit of a test, it means he has problem in a specific module. So sometimes he may pass module 1, fail module 2. Sometimes he pass module 3, fail module 4. Sometimes he can pass all the 4 modules, 5 modules, fail module 7. And so that module that he failed is called a gap. He has a gap. Okay? So that part of it, we need to really help the child to grow in confidence. We need to help them with that gap level. Okay? So a quick one, we said parents inquiry comes in, right? Set a date. As a start, you can either put them 1 grade down, or less, meaning this way. If it is grade 5, he's 11 years old, he's in grade 5. He comes in, the parents inquire, then that child will place 1 level down. He will start the diagnostic test at grade 4. Okay? But if he failed, diagnose further by placing him an extra grade down. Means he started 4, he failed, he could not, then you may have to place him down 1 more, meaning grade 3. During the time of the diagnostic test, do not allow parents to take home the test. Please. Absolutely no. We do not allow parents to sit in while the child is doing the test. We do not allow parents to take the test back home, because very, very often, and I would say definitely, parents will assist. And once the parents assist the child in his test, the child's ability will be questionable. So please do not allow the parents to take back the diagnostic test. There should be no assistance given. If a child asks the teacher in attendance, teacher, I don't understand this question. Let him read the question and let him explain himself. You don't try to explain, because sometimes explaining the question can give in the answer. So you have to be careful in that also. Huh? Then the teacher will mark. Best to be marked, not arc by the grade. Okay, sorry, there's a mistake there. By the grade teacher. So that means, or age teacher, means if it's 11 years old, okay, then the grade 5 teacher will mark. Okay. Now, after the marking, let's go back, sorry, to the slide that I showed. Okay, after marking already everything, then you are going to meet with the parents to review the result. You will show the result and show where the child has gap and so forth. And always explain this. Parents may come and say, my child is 11 years old. He has finished grade 5. But sometimes the diagnostic result shows that the child totally is unable to do the grade, fail in the grade 5 itself. So, and most often, these are children who came from Chinese school. There is a displacement in language. And that displacement in language will affect their ability in science and maths also. And so, if a child drops down to level 4, even though he has finished grade 5, we have to inform the parents, let the parents know that this part of where he failed is not because he failed in knowledge, but he failed in understanding because of language. But sometimes it could also be because of the academic problem. And parents should know also, because we need to also ask the parents for his school result. Do ask the parent, how has he fared in his school work, in his private public school or the school he is currently in before coming enrolling in your side. Ask the parent, how has he fared in his work? And if he fared badly, then you will know already why he's not doing very well. And so it's important here that you need to explain parents. Most of the time, student fail is because of language displacement. Okay? If there's questions on this area, please feel free to use the chat, and you can type in your questions. Okay? Let me go on. So after you have explained this already, then the parents say, I'm satisfied, I want to enroll. And the enrollment, okay, will be based on where you have diagnosed the child. Maybe the child is 11 years old, but the diagnostic test showed that he cannot start at grade 5 or grade 6. He's supposed to go to grade 6. He has to stay back, do some gap at grade 5 or grade 4. Okay, maybe English, he has some gap. Gap meaning that the whole of the grade 4, there are 10 modules, and that means 10 set of the tests. He could have failed in 2 or 3 or 4 of the module in grade 4. So that will be the gap.
The score below 7.
Okay. Can speak?
Okay, the gap is the child score below 7.
70.
7 upon 10.
7 upon 10,
7
sorry.
upon 10.
7 upon 10. Every diagnostic test has 10 questions. Okay? 10 questions. And if you score below 7, that will be considered as, sorry, he has not been able to master that module. So it is a gap. I do know that some of you may ask, 7 upon 10, that is very good already. No, we are talking about mastery. In order for a child to have confidence, he must have mastery of the subject. And mastery has to be achieved 70 and above, or in this incident, 7 upon 10. Okay? So then, once he's satisfied, you'll place the child, and then the child may be going to 12 years old next year. You will place him with the age group of the 12 years old, but then that child may have to start work on the gap at grade 4 or grade 5 before he before he begin his grade 6 study. So there could be gap in English, maths, or sciences, like that. Okay, so if you are not clear about this, please feel free to ask in the chat. Now, so once we enroll the student, we will also enroll the teacher. This will be the task of the administrator. The administrator will enroll the teacher, and he will enroll the student to the class. And I think this was covered.
Yeah.
Go settings.
Sorry, today, this afternoon. Yes, we will cover this afternoon. Then after that, the administrator will look at the child's result, and he will start purchasing the module. The module that's in the gap. And then, please, administrator, don't order more than 5 for a start. I always advise order 2 or 3 while the child is doing the gap level. Because very often we see that once a child starts on his gap, he goes through 1 module, he goes through 2 modules, he actually pick up more knowledge, better understanding. And when you give him the 3rd module, it seems that he said I can do, and he can do it faster. You can either retest him again, nothing wrong. Using back the same diagnostic test, retest him, and this could be after a month, after 2 months or 3 months. Okay? And sometimes it could be after a month, because once the child starts working on the gap, I explain afterward, he doesn't have like following a timetable or that he must finish 1 lesson a day. He's allowed to do more lessons per day. And so he can finish faster. So in this incident, he may finish a module faster, and as he go through the next and the next, he find that he gain better understanding, better language skill. He may be able to do faster, and then that's where you may want to retest him. So we always advise, don't buy too many. Don't buy a 1-year book, please. Buy 3 months, like that, for the gaps, for the gap level only. Please, I'm speaking about those children which are in the gap level. Okay? So you will purchase the module, and then once you purchase the module, you can assign them to their class and begin operation. Okay? If I have a question, if a child failed grade 1 diagnostic test, where should he or she start? For example, if he or she can read but is not very efficient in reading. If this incident, if I'm talking to a child who is in grade, he's in from preschool, meaning 6 years old, supposed to move into grade 1. Now, usually for this incident, we do test them on the grade 1. If he fail, and this is 6 years old, I give you the scenario, 6 years old going to year 1 next year. We do test them on the year 1, because some kindergarten, they are a little bit very, very optimistic. I'll use this word. They push their curriculum higher. So a child may be able to do some of the units in my year 1. And just for information, usually in year 1, the first 2-3 units is actually a repetition of their preschool work. So they may find that, they can do the year book 1, book 2, book 3. And then book 5, book 6, they will have a challenge. So in this case, don't jump them to book 5. Just place them at year 1. If you are classroom based, then put them at year 1 together with everyone. But if the child comes in and can do grades, book 8, book 9, he passed every unit, then possibility is that you can place him at grade 2, because this one is a very unique child. Okay?
Okay, for the grade 1 diagnostic test, if you put a grade 1 in the classroom setting, I will look at the diagnostic result. If you just score 0, 1 or 2, then it's very weak. You score 4 and above, you got 40% mastering the subject. It's possible put it in the year 1 together with the year 1 student, because year 1 student a lot of time is the teacher holding their hand. So teachers guide them one by one, page by page. The child can pick up from there. If the child is a special need children, you also will not. If the child is special need children, they might not able to go to year 1. If it's normal kids, if they're 4 and above, I do take them put into year 1. Yeah?
Now, in this incident, I think I'm addressing to many of you, your centers where you're going to be using multi-grade and multi-grade class, meaning you have a mixture of year 1, year 2, different age group in your class, okay? In this incident, okay, we always incorporate a few things in the year 1 class. Smarty N to reinforce reading literacy together with the Eduseeds English. Okay? And then it is important for the year 1, make him go through the reading, or her. Go through the reading. This is important. Now, so if a child comes in at grade 6, and if yours is a multi-grade, then he can do book 1, book 2, book 3, and fail in book 4, then start him with book 4. And that's provided he scores 7 and above. 7 and above. Then you put him on the book that he has scored below 7 points. That's for English, Math, Science. Okay? Where you place him in English book 4, that's where you can start with social study, value education also, because the language will go concurrently. Okay? I hope it helps. Okay, next. The two choice of operation, like here we say the classroom means everyone on the same lesson, and may be different in age, slightly different in age, but they'll all be studying together on the same lessons. There is a control class environment. Self-directed or blended means it will be multi-grade and multi-class, meaning you will have different grade, different age group, multi-grade, multi-age, sorry. You have different age, different grade in the class. And if you are going to be using self-directed, my advice is careful with the number that a teacher can handle. I will cover that later, okay? So, classroom operation. You now have diagnose, you place the student at the same grade if it is a classroom, or you place them together, multi-grade. If your starting number is big, like maybe 20 children, you may want to get 2 teachers, each handling 10. For multi-grade, multi-age, okay, I will cover that afterward, okay, let me say. So, in a classroom operation, all lessons are at the same, all students at the same pace. They don't jump, they don't express themselves, sorry, okay. You're all at the same lesson, at the same pace. This is classroom. Advantage, easier to monitor. Marking books is easier also because it's all the same lessons. And then teacher can do quiz, teacher can do revision together or project with the class. And then class and group discussion they can do, meaning the class can be broken up into small group for discussion. Disadvantage, you need a bigger space for class. And sometimes if a teacher is not good in controlling, because it is usually a bigger class, mostly between 20 to 25 or 15 and above. Then you have a problem with managing the class and controlling the class. Okay. So you have to control the pace. The child cannot express. They have to go at their pace. It can be good, it can be a disadvantage, depends. Some children say, I want to go fast. Parents say, he wants his children to go fast. Please, then you have to sit down, get a letter from the parents that they want the child to express. Then the child is allowed to express himself. Okay? But also explain, if a child express himself, okay, and he do badly, the teacher is not going to spend personal attention for that child. The teacher is going to spend equally for all that is in her class, not to just one special needs. Okay? Self-directed. Okay, this is multi-grade, multi-age students in the same class. This is where I want to say. try not to put more than 15 students, okay, in a class. Keep to not more than 15 per class per teacher. Usually in a self-directed class, it is one teacher managing the whole class, multi-subject management also. Now, why one teacher managing multi-subject? Because in a self-directed class, the teacher is not going to be teaching the lesson plan. And this is where we created the lesson plan that it kind of like replaced the teacher's teaching. The lesson plan in PowerPoint is the replacement of the teacher having to teach. So the teacher role becomes the managing their goal, monitoring on their progress, mentoring them to learn and how to have a more effective learning skill. This is important. Advantage, student may move according to his or own pace. If a child is fast, he goes faster. And there are exceptional children who are like that. They are good, they are smart, their reading is excellent. Like yesterday I mentioned about the 10 to 15% of good reader. Usually a good reader can express faster and they can move faster. Their comprehension is good. So some of this one, you may need to give them that room to move faster so they don't feel so bored. But sometimes what we do is for these fast children, you don't have to make them study the whole duration of the school hours in the day. They study the morning, they finish all their goal, good. But if you have extra time in the afternoon, then get this student to be responsible to help the weaker child. The weaker student, don't help the older one, that older than his age. They may not appreciate it. Okay, so get this child to help reading for the year one. Help the year one, year two a little bit more personal attention, that needs a bit more personal attention, or individual that need a bit more attention, because this kind of children usually they feel very gratifying, and they can, okay, and you can use them to assist the children, and then reward them at the end of the year. Most helpful student like that, okay. But you make sure that when a child who is going at their pace and they are doing very slow, that's not acceptable. We must complete a year's study in the duration of a schooling day, schooling days, meaning 1 year, how many days of schooling and how much of module. They are supposed to be like English, Math, Science, finish 10 modules a year, they must finish the 10 modules a year. When a child is slow, I mean he may not be able to finish his work during the school hours. He has to take back and finish it as homework. And he must finish it regardless. It doesn't mean that self-directed means I take my own sweet time. No. He has to have a certain discipline and diligence also. Okay? Okay. Now, in this self-directed one, it also provides a more personal supervision. Why? Individuals who are at different modules. It is you as a teacher that knows how to manage. You can give them a better personal supervision and encouragement for them to study and to express themselves if there is a need, if they are falling behind. Okay? Fourth, it does save cost because one teacher to a classroom. Please, teacher, we are not trying to save costs. In our kind of operations, cost is very important. And so don't feel negative. Please don't be throwing negative remark to your administrator, principal who are making me teach everything subject. Look at it this way. You are going to come into a different situation where it is going to help you to translate yourself and transform yourself into a better person, a better teacher. Don't take it negatively. Take it positively. It is something that we must always develop. Develop your skill. Develop your multitasking ability, multi-subject tasking ability. And this will increase your capacity, your ability also. Okay? Disadvantage is going to be challenging for teacher to handle different grade of students at a time. Yes, but it is not impossible. Afterward, we will show you how you as a teacher can manage. I say this to you. I put down there not more than 15 students per teacher per class. I've been running this program, this education for the past almost 25 years. And I have my teacher who were able to handle 20 children. No problem. 20 students. No problem at all. Okay? They are able to manage it. So please, it is not difficult. It is not impossible. Okay. So, diagnostic test and placement. I shared this already. It determines what the child knows and what he does not. It allows the child to start at his own confidence level. So, you have already understand that we're now going to classroom. If it's classroom, then you may have to adjust the child's diagnostic test to fit closest to his class level. Meaning this, he is 12 years old, but he failed all grade 5. You cannot put him at grade 6. The best is you got to put him at grade 5. Incidentally, I just have to add, ours is a 10 years program. So those who finish grade 6 from the government school, it is different. Our grade 6 cover higher. So they may, usually those who come in at 12 years old will retain back grade 6. But it is not studying all subject, all course material. No. Much of it is new subject matters. Because our grade 6 is almost equivalent to the Form 1. Okay? Especially maths, English, and the sciences. Because our sciences in grade 6 covers biology as a separate lesson, chemistry, and physics. They are all separate subject itself. So it's actually more of a grade 7. That's something you need to explain to parents. Huh? Okay. So I've shared this. Diagnostic test, we basically test them on English, maths, and science. Okay. This is a process, set a time, things to bring, to be pencil. All in pencil, please. All diagnostic tests is to be done in pencil so that they can erase it also. Like that. And the reason why we do in pencil is so that when they want to do the second time, they can review back what they have done and they can erase and change their answer, because if they do the second time, it is because they have already gone through some module, their language has picked up, so forth. Start at one grade below and so forth. Marking preferably by the grade teacher, determine his gap. Tabulate the result. Now please keep the result. Okay, keep the result for record keeping. It should be filed on the child's folder. If you like to create folder online, please do so. Okay, review the result with the parents. Confirm the placement. If the student's result shows huge gap, encourage to give projection plan. Meaning, after this, my wife will explain a bit more on the projection plan. He is 3 years behind his age group level. He is now 12 years old. He can only start at grade 4. Grade 4, 5, 6, he has almost 3 years to catch up. Grade 4, he will show some gap. Grade 5, some gap. Grade 6, he totally could not do. These are gaps. And many of these gaps, and because of this huge gap, we then have to do a projection. That projection is to tell him how many maths lessons he needs to do per year, per day, per week, per month, per year, or how many books he needs to do per year to cover up. Let me see if we have a book. This is the record system. 10 means he scored a 10. The one that we circle in red means he scored below expected. That is the mastery mark. That is a gap. Those that is in the red circle is called gap. 4 is a gap, 2 is a gap, and so he has a lot of gaps here. Okay? So for this instance, this guy could be actually 12 years old. We start him on grade 5, there was a lot of gap. Then we push him down to grade 4. 4, he did better, but we still see there was some gap in grade 4. So what do? We pick up all those gaps for him in grade 4, unit 9. Grade 5, unit 4, 5, 8, and 9. These grade 4, grade 5, grade 7, and 8. These are known as the gap. Okay, so these are where the administrator will have to buy the module for the child to begin. He is 12 years old, current age. So if it's a self-directed class, you may put him to the between the middler, means you have a group that is around 5, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8. If not, then okay, looking at the combinations, administrator can make the adjustment. So he basically his confidence level actually is at grade 5. Sorry.
Okay, let me share here. If you do into the classroom setting, they mean all the children same pace, same page. So for this incident, this person can put in a grade 6 as a classroom setting, but he got gap in 4 and 5. This become the gap. He do 2 things concurrently. It is he do the classroom at grade 601, whereas the gap he will do from home or spare time for 4 and 5. So this he can save his time. Whereas if in the self-directed classroom, the child will go according to the gap. They mean 4 and 5 and move to the 6.
Okay. When it comes to enrollment form and all these things, when my guys goes there to set up the server and all this, he will run through with you all the form. I will not be going through the student form, all this. It's a little bit boring. So the site IT guy basically and Mr. Chung will be the one that will run with you on all these students forms. Okay. These are the types of form: application form, student handbook, book order form, student inventory, projection form, supervisor, progress, so forth, all this. I'm not going to bore you on all this. Okay? Organizing your class. Okay. Now, before you start, and when you start your class, we collect phone before class start. Start with a 5, 10, 15 minutes as you like, or half an hour inspiration as a class or as a whole school. Always remember to take attendance through the goal setting. So please mark the attendance in the LMS. Students set goals. Teachers check students' goal at the teacher's page. The very start, the teacher must check to ensure that all students set in their goals. Now, we also have class daily duties: sweeping floor, mopping floor. I have a building. I have only one janitor. But my one janitor has 300 assistants, meaning all 300 students are the janitors. It's important. We want to encourage students to have responsible of their environment, of their own place. So we make them clean themselves, their place where they use the toilet, the floor, the classroom, their table. All this must be managed by the student. Okay? Class rules. This is the part where we, over the years, find very helpful. Originally, 20 over years ago, we started out using this program called ACE, School of Tomorrow. There we learn about this flat system. And this flat system is very good for class management, class control. Okay. Now, if you are using blended class, self-directed or classroom, the biggest problem I find challenging for teacher is managing and controlling their class. So what I do here is when I ring 3 times, you can use a bell, you can use those porter bell, you know, ting, ting, ting. You put 3 sound, 1, 2, 3. The students must recognize that they are to be back to their seat or to be seated and be quiet. Anyone who fails to do that, that means he will be recorded names and he will be punished. What is a punishment? I will explain later. Teacher may want to ring bell more than 3 times, you know. Okay. Sound means the class is noisy and there's a lot of movements and the teacher is giving a warning. Be seated and be quiet. You got to have class management. But class management should not be using your voice. Sit down, be quiet, shouting here and there. It only stresses you, teacher. From the start, you must make sure your children recognize the bell, the sound, the ring. Okay? Then, if students need teachers' attention, you can either use the hand raise where it's a classroom, or in those days, what we do is that we put a flag on a block. They put up the flag. I will show you afterward. I'll show you. Sorry, I didn't bring. I'll show you the flag so that they can put in the flag that they need the teacher's permission. What we do is that we use 2 flags. One, we call it the national flag, and the other one, we use the Christian flag. If they need academic attentions, where the Lord needs is our help, we put in the Christian flag. Meaning, when a child put in the Christian flag, he needs teacher assistant. If he needs to do something that's non-academic, what do I mean by non-academic? He needs to go to the toilet, he needs to go out, wash hands, something like that. Then he put in the national flag. So we define. And so it's very important when you set up your class, you need to set up a command system. Okay? This is where we will learn afterward. Command, control, connect, command, connect. So, very important, set in these rules. Teacher, you must have a way to command, not by your voice, please. You will only stress yourself. And sometimes the sound of your voice can be intimidating and it can be read with a different implication. So the best is the sound of the bell. 3 bells. Children, be seated. Student, be seated. Be quiet. More than 3 is a warning that if anyone is not seated in the next 10 seconds, he will be punished. That's important.